Cassie has a huge decision to make, Jules is on a trip, and Rue is getting to the bottom of all of it. Stay tuned.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Welcome to the Euphoria After Show. Today we are here talking about Season 1, Episode 7, entitled The Trials and Tribulations of Trying to Pee While Depressed. We have so much to get into. Don't you love that name?
Yeah,
it's like a lot. Perfect name for this episode.
Amazing. I thought it was usually song titles, but I guess not today.
Oh, yeah.
Unless that is a song title, which I wouldn't know about. We have so much to get into, but first I have to introduce my co-host to my left, Kristen Horde. She is the #1 Drake fan, and if you didn't know, Drake is actually a producer of the show. And to her left, Miss Ashleigh Morgan, who is here for all the TV high school drama, of course.
Right. I missed you guys. I'm back from 2-week hiatus.
I know, we missed you, finally.
I know, sorry.
And to her left is the #1 Zendaya fan, Mr. Jeff Williams.
Yes, there's some other frauds out there. I'm the #1. Zendaya, you know. It's real. This is real.
So don't get it twisted.
Thank you.
We have so much, like, I don't even know where to begin. There's Cassie, who has dropped a bomb on Chris McKay tonight. Fez is getting involved with Nate. Jules is on a trip. It's just so much. We also have a special segment, a different special segment. So if you have been here consistently, stay tuned for tonight's special segment because it's different. We have some news and gossip and so much to get into. But first, Kristen, please tell me your overall thoughts of tonight's episode.
Wow, I feel like I need to watch it again. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I feel like some things went over my head. I'm just like, wait, we pause, rewind, pause it? Like, I need to literally watch it again because it was so crazy. Especially that trip what Jules was going through. Like, my mind just went, whoa. But good job, Euphoria.
Me too. Ashley, what do you think of tonight?
As always, it's just kind of a lot. It's like Euphoria is one of those shows where you have to watch it, process it, then watch it again.
Exactly.
So I'm with you, Kristen. So I feel like a lot of stuff happened. I feel like now that we're like kind of winding down, things are starting to unravel, and we're like kind of coming to like a small sort of conclusion of this show. And I'm here for it. I'm enjoying it. It was fun.
Yes.
Yeah, this whole episode was just like a roller coaster of emotions for different characters, different storylines, and I loved every second of it. And just some of the, I'm not going to tease what my predictions are, but I feel like there's so many different storylines and there were so many setups to things that I think are going to happen. So I'm excited. I'm excited to talk about this episode and to see next week's episode. So
Yeah, again, like, my head was spinning just like every other week. I always say after like an episode of Euphoria, I need to like lay down and just really process everything. It's so much.
Have a glass of wine.
I mean, something that we've all been predicting, I think, from the start is Cassie's pregnant.
Yeah.
And we were right about that. And that was a huge, God, I don't know, I felt for her. When she sat down and sort of told Kris that she's pregnant, that moment, I started teering up.
Really?
I didn't. I did. The first time I watched it twice tonight. I just.
you got it. She did. You know what's up.
Were you surprised by Chris's reaction?
No, of course not. He's a freshman in college. Absolutely not. Like, I'm glad that we really got to know Cassie, because everybody's just saying she's a hoe, she's this, she's that, but really it's just daddy issues, I guess you can say. Not only daddy issues, but just falling in love, and really she's doing this with her boyfriend. She's not doing it with random men, I guess you can say. So it's really good to know her story instead of just thinking of her as, the high school whore.
I feel like, I'm happy we got to see who Cassie was. I knew there was a reason why she was like so needy towards men and willing to do whatever to make them happy. And now you see, because her father and he was like in her life and he was gone, and then it alluded, in this show we never know what's actually happening, but it alluded to the fact that her dad was maybe a heroin addict. So she's kind of just looking for love in all the wrong places. And the response from McKay, for me, it was a little shocking. I mean, he is in college, he is young, they're together, but they haven't been together long enough. But I feel like he loves her, and like he can see that she's actually hurting from this. And like there was a half a second where I was like, are they actually going to try to make this work? And I'm like, I'm here for this. I mean, it's not easy, but I feel like if that's what Cassie wanted and McKay was okay with that, then I would have been here for it. Again, I feel like it's her choice. It's their choice and it's her choice mostly. So.
this is what I love about this show, is that they always highlight a person for each episode. So they're giving us an invested reason to love these characters.
Right.
And for us with Maddie this week, Maddie or Cassie.
Cassie.
I
All their
swear,
names are so
I
similar.
literally I write it down. I switch them out all the time. But yes,
do
for
too.
Cassie this week, it gave me an insight on her backstory. It gave me a vested interest, and it gave me an insight on why she is the way she is. But for this specific instance, I was upset, but I knew it was real because he had a real way of doing it. Like, he was just sitting there kind of like taking it in. But if you listen, the first thing was good, the last thing was good. Everything else in the middle was bad. Because if you did,
Yeah.
his first question is, "How are you?" which is a great question. And then he goes on to, well, what is my dad going to think? What is my football coach going to think? I can't do this. I'm not ready to be a dad. So it was like, literally, it was a bunch of me's and I's. It was all about him. And then once she said, I believe it was something like, I'm not saying I wanted to be a mom. I was just thinking about it. Then he was like, okay, let me go back to consoling her. So, I mean, it seemed all nice from like the two outsides, but like there was a whole lot of selfishness in there. And I understand that that's real. But as a person, I would hope that he would be like, look, it's not just me. Because, like, she's holding the baby for 9 months. If that's what she wants to do. As a man, I can only say what I want. She controls her body. So it's like, it was kind of unfortunate, but it was real.
Right.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I like that we sort of got a real and raw first reaction of his. It's like shock, and then it's like, are you okay? But it's human nature, I think, to be like, oh my goodness, my parents, my football, my school, this and that. I respect that sort of journey that he took, and she was just sitting there, but he did recognize, like, she was hurting, and he's like, come here. I liked how it ended, and it came back together. But for a second, I held my breath. I was like, oh my God, please stop. It was so emotional.
It was.
So she didn't end up telling him, though, that she has kissed Daniel twice. Do you think that's the right decision? Should she tell him?
No.
No?
No.
Don't
tell. Like,
I don't know. I struggle with a guilty conscience. So I'm a lot like Cassie, where even if it's innocent, and it's not really innocent, it's not, sorry, take it back, it's not innocent, but even if it's not malicious, I still feel like you need to, your relationship is built on trust. And if you're trusting him to be in college and be around all these other women and be honest with you, then you have to also be in high school around all these other men and be honest with him.
Yeah.
And I feel like, especially with the baby, or with the fact that she's pregnant, it's like it's so much more beyond them. They need to start. I think that's why she wanted to kind of start with a fresh, clean slate. Like, I did this, and I just want to let you know, like, whatever he chooses to do from there, at least her plate is clear. So I feel like if she's feeling guilty, I feel guilty. I feel like if you're feeling guilty about something, it's better you just say something, because if not, it just kind of sits.
Yeah, if it weighs on you, I guess,
Yeah.
and you can't, that's the only thing you think about when you're with them, sure, yeah, I guess
So it's going to come out sideways, and you're going to be drunk one day, and then you're like, why didn't you tell me?
For me, it's just plain and simple. I need the truth.
Yeah.
I need trust. I need 100%. We're both there, because like, if I find out any other type of way, I'm gonna feel way worse than if you just told me in the first place. And I get it. It wasn't a great situation. You can't really say, "Oh yeah, I kissed this dude. Also, I'm pregnant." Because then,
Right.
as a normal
It's a
person, it's
double
like,
whammy.
wait. So like, you kissed him. Did you have sex with him? Is that my
Yeah.
baby?
Is it even
There's
mine?
27,000 other questions. So like,
Exactly.
it definitely wasn't the perfect situation to tell him in that instance. But she has to tell him.
Yeah.
You know what I really feel like? If you love this person and you know you want to be with this person, right? And you know you're probably going to lose them because of this silly mistake, I feel like you shouldn't tell them, because that is not literally...
It's interesting you say this, Kristen, because my friend is going through this right now. And it's like, but one lie becomes multiple lies, and then you have to keep this same lie. And then it just trickles down to other stuff. And it's like, if you were just truthful in the beginning, now when you get down to the end, it's like, well, I wouldn't have cared back then, but now this whole story has been created because you lied about something. That if you, I just from
experience, I've learned that it's small now. Like, oh, it's just a kiss.
Yeah,
I have learned that the truth always comes out, whether it's now, in 10 years, in 15 years, and it's better that it comes out now and you hear it from me than 10 years down the line you hear it from someone else, and then everything else I've told you for the past 10 years you think is a lie. So me personally, I would definitely tell him right away.
Especially because
I've had this experience, actually. I've done it. It was my high school sweetheart. I didn't tell him because I did kiss somebody else. I'm like, I will, like, that, nothing is going to come of that. It was an accident. It's gone out of my brain. Just push it out of your brain.
You didn't feel guilty?
For a little bit.
I mean, I know
he's the
guilty.
one. It's not. That is nothing. So I know he's the one. It's done.
I'm on the live chat right now, and Jassy Jones says Cassie needs to tell McKay though. I mean,
they're for sure breaking up. Let
me see if anybody else has commented on it.
You think so though?
Absolutely, because he already knows that he wifed. I don't know how to say it. He wiped a hoe, yeah. Okay. So he wiped that, and then you just did that to me? Absolutely, it's done.
I think I see what you're saying, Kris, and I feel like if she tells Kris that, it's going to just trigger back to that video that he saw, and it's like everything everybody told. That's my Kris McKay voice. Everything everybody told me was true about you, and I knew I shouldn't. Not saying that that's a reason not to, because I still think that she should. But I feel like if that's why, well, she doesn't know that, but I feel like that's like, I could see her not saying anything because she doesn't want it to trickle and then lose the best thing that she feels like she's ever had in a relationship.
I don't want to harp on it too much, but I see you guys' mindset. I understand it, but from a guy's point of view, if I don't hear it from you, it's way worse. Yeah. And like in this specific instance, he knows that she gets around. For her to be like, you know what, I messed up. I accidentally kissed this dude. That shows me, not only is she growing, but she doesn't want to be that person, that she's not that person. So, like...
Right. Jeff, you're lying.
I'm not saying... this is the comment. I'm not saying I wouldn't be hyped. Like, I'd be hot.
You'd be hot, though?
But I'm saying, like, I would also appreciate her telling me after I got my hotness done. Like, I'm trying to, go ahead and punch a couple pillows or something.
Well, while Cassie is juggling two guys, her sister Lexi actually makes a few comments tonight where she's like, I've never been in that situation, and we sort of see growing up their mom is always telling Cassie, you're so beautiful, you're so pretty, and Lexi's sort of in the background. It's sort of interesting their sister, and I think Lexi's really pretty too, so it's just sort of so interesting.
I wish she would have gotten that.
Lexi's always like Captain Save Everybody, and like no one ever gives her the credit that she deserves.
They never save her.
It's like last week she's like, making sure Rue was okay, even though Rue was so concerned about Jules, or was that was last week, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes.
And then that was at the party, right?
Yep, Halloween party.
Yes, and then she's covering for her sister, even though her sister might not be in there. She could be in there, but she's covering anyway. It's like Lexi's always the backbone for everyone, but no one's ever really checking on her.
Yeah. It's sad.
It's really sad. This one's for you, Lexi.
I wish she got an episode so we can understand her point of view, because she's obviously the one that her sister they're always saying, she's beautiful, Cassie's beautiful, but no one's ever talking about Lexi.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I agree with that. And I just love that they actually showed her in this episode and like gave her some substance, because we see her like being the third wheel in the friendship and stuff, but like showing her like relationship with her sister and actually like having some bad blood, but then also like when they're both in their beds talking about positive stuff and like trying to help each other. I thought it showed layers to both their characters. So I love that, because we've been kind of missing that throughout the whole series. We just thought of her as like the old best friend.
Yeah, it's a bigger part next season.
Well, actually, to piggyback off that, Billin, I hope I'm saying your name right, says that Lexi needs an episode next season. But if they give Lexi one, they better give Gia one too. Because to see the sisters,
Ashtray.
It probably
we need to see it from their perspective growing up,
and see how they intermix with, but also like just seeing like Lexi deal with her Cassie getting all the attention, and then Gia dealing with Rue getting all the attention, and seeing how that like plays on the siblings would be really interesting.
That is cool. I hope they do.
It is so very interesting. We want to thank you for tuning in, and Kristen is going to tell you how thankful we are.
Yes, we are so thankful. And before we move on to our next topic, we just wanted to say thank you for making us the ESPN of TV talk. For us to continue to grow, we could use your help. If you're on YouTube right now, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. If you're on iTunes, please give us a 5-star rating. But no matter where you are, leave us a comment so you can get involved in the conversation. Obviously, you guys are in our conversation because we see a lot of comments. Thank you for that. And being a part of AfterBuzz TV has meant so much to all of us.
Yes.
We truly appreciate you supporting us and doing what we love. Don't forget to tell your friends and keep enjoying our shows. Thank you.
We love it. And we're not going anywhere. We hope you don't go anywhere, but someone who is going everywhere is Jules. She's on a trip this week. Yeah.
Literally.
I know.
I'm so confused.
I don't
about
know.
this.
She went to her old friend from her old high school. She went to her place. It looked like she had a connection with her roommate.
Yeah.
I don't know. Why did Jules feel like she had to go away?
I felt like, I don't want to say that she has depression, but it came off the way they were placing the scenes that it was two forms of depression. We see Rue dealing with it in one way of like physical pain and being on the ground and crying and watching live TV or
Love Island.
Yeah, Love Island and everything. And then you also see the other side was like, you know what, I'm not going to deal with it. I'm just going to avoid my feelings and go out and do stuff. And then when you see her actually dealing with her feelings when she's on drugs, it comes out in a sexual way, but like it's forceful. It's like it's visually it's weird, but like you kind of confused and kind of see what she's actually doing and what's her mindset. So I kind of saw it as two different forms of dealing with depression.
To piggyback off what Jeff said, I feel I agree, and I feel like they're both finding different ways to cope with it. So Rue kind of hibernates herself. And I might be wrong, but I feel like the whole urine thing was like Rue needed to feel like she can control something since she can't control her feelings. And they were kind of teasing like she might be bipolar, which is interesting. And she said that she might need to get back on her medication. And then Jules is the kind of person where she needs to like let go. So it's like Rue needs control and then Jules needs to let go. So, like, she goes back home and she's, like, partying. She's having fun. But then, like, once the high comes down, reality sits back in and she's like, I'm still feeling like, I feel like she feels trapped and scared with this whole Nate thing. She feels like she wants to tell Rue, but she can't because she doesn't want, like, her pictures to get out or anything. And I'm just like, I feel bad because I feel like they both feel trapped and they don't know what to do.
Right. This definitely is the unreliable narrator finally really came out this episode, I feel like, because I was so confused. I'm so confused with what's real and what's not. What she's thinking. Is she on? I know obviously she was on drugs, but was she really in bed with Rue? I was so confused. Like the unreliable narrator finally came out. We were talking about that in the comments like all of these weeks, and it got me this episode. I cannot even talk about Jules. I have no idea what went on. No idea what went on.
One part randomly that sort of bothered me was she took like a sniff of, it looked like cocaine maybe, and I don't know, they focus on like Rue's drug problem, but she's over here snorting coke and they're making it seem like it's just so casual, like oh, she's just partying, like she's still in high school, people. I don't know, it was just weird for me. It's uncomfortable. I'm like, oh, is she like snorting coke and it's just like normal? I don't know, it was weird. And then Rue is really trying to play investigator. She really thinks that
was funny.
That Jules likes Nate, and for a half a second when Jules was hallucinating, I guess, it looked like she was making out with Nate. Turns out it wasn't, but does she actually like Nate? Like in the back of her mind, are those like suppressed feelings? Is Rue onto something?
She likes Tyler. She doesn't like Nate. That's
Tyler, yes, you're right.
Tyler.
Yeah,
Which is a fake person, which is kind of tough.
Yeah,
exactly.
And when Rue says, Nate has messed with me too, I think that's what she's talking about. Nate messed with Jules's head, which Rue wants to be in there. You know what I'm saying? She wants to be the only person that Jules is thinking about. And she knows that that's not true right now. So Nate messed with Jules's head. And I think that's where Rue is, that's where her anger comes from. Because unless I forgot something, I don't know what he did directly to her to make her mad.
She said, well, because her narration said she told Fez, Nate did something to me and he did something to Jules. And I was like, also, if you know in the comments what Nate did to Rue, let us know, because I don't feel like that was ever shared.
Yeah, I just assumed it was him messing with Jules' head, which caused Rue to be mad.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's sort of indirectly, like, you're messing with my best friend and the person that I love the most. Now they're gone, so it is messing with me. And she's, Rue is dealing with depression, and I didn't know this, but it's the episode title, The Trials and Tribulations of Trying to Pee While Depressed. And I didn't know that was a thing. Right. So once again, this show teaches us so much more. So is it that, and sorry for sounding ignorant, if you know, please comment below, but when you are depressed, is it something like going to the bathroom? Is that a lot harder? Because that's what it made it seem like in the show. When she was hurting, and she tells her mom, I need to get back on meds, which I was proud of her, because she could have just taken some fentanyl, which she would have probably done in the past, but she didn't.
I don't know depression well enough to comment on that.
Yeah, I honestly think when she said she didn't, it was hard to use the restroom, it was because she didn't want to. Like, you kind of like force yourself to just lay there and not want, and kind of just hold it because you don't want to get out of bed, you don't want to move, you just want to lay down and be depressed. So I think that's for the most part what it was. I don't think like depression like stops you from using the restroom. She just held it so long that you can't use the restroom. And that happens to me like when you're asleep, like, and then you get up to go use the restroom, like you can't. It takes a while.
That makes sense.
It's held so long, so I think that was what she meant by it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. People are commenting. Drifter said, in the beginning, she said that Nate tried to finger her.
What? When?
Back in episode 1.
Episode 1? Wow, you're teaching us something.
I was going to say, because it either
Thank you for the reminder.
in episode 1 or when she was talking about her sex life, but I don't remember her mentioning Nate at all.
He tried to finger her at a dance. He did say that. I remember that. I think she did say that. No, she did say that. No, I think she did say that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Because we were like trying to remember, like, maybe that really affected her more than we thought, and that really is like, because she has this like hate towards him.
Yeah.
So so thank you for letting us know. Sorry, I didn't interrupt.
This is why we love you guys. We love when you get involved, because you teach us something every single week.
Yeah, I was just gonna mention that. Even though I'm not exactly sure if that's part of depression, I love how they visually showed it. Like, they actually showed her in pain, and they actually showed the anatomy of, like, her kidneys and stuff. And, like, visually, as I'm a visual person, I felt like I understood what she was going through more because I saw it in the way that they showed every different thing. Everything they show in this TV show, they talk about it, and they show it, and they don't hide anything. So I love that about it. And I feel like you learn the best by saying it and showing it.
Literally. I mean, I've learned about, like, drug use, about depression, about, people's childhoods and how it can affect them in their adulthood. And they do such a good job at visually really showing all of that. And there was, obviously, tonight there was a showdown between Nate and Fez. That moment, oh my goodness, I held my breath. I thought a gun was going to be drawn. Just like Rue asked Fez, and he was kind of like, no, I'm not going to do that. But he really threatened him. He said, I will kill you. I will kill you.
With a straight face. I loved it.
And if that's not love, I don't know what is.
And I like how he was like, what, you in a relationship? He's like, no, that's family. Like, that's family. You don't play about your family. Because, like, I remember when Rue, like, asked him about it, he was all like, man, you're being manic. You're just whatever. But deep down, he was like, noted. And then when Nate pulled on up, he sure went. And Nate's like cocky, but I think he's scared too, because Fez was like, "Okay, you're like talking a bunch of crap. You can talk about me if you want to, but just let you know what it is. Like, I'm gonna warn you. We're not gonna have this conversation. It's just action."
Yeah.
See, I knew it didn't really faze Nate as much as like he probably Fez wanted it to, because it came off as like he's like, I'm just kind of too cocky, too arrogant to realize that this is real life, because he's gotten away with a lot of stuff. And like right before he like comes back at Fez, he looks back at his girls. Like, in my mind, I'm thinking he got away with all this stuff through the police. He can handle Fez. And we kind of assume that's what happens later in the episode. We don't get a guarantee that he called the. Well, no, we do.
We do.
Yeah, we do, because he calls the police and then they show up.
It's Nate and his privilege.
Yeah, it's the privilege that's showing, and that's why he doesn't understand how serious this is going to be for him.
I think who doesn't understand? Nate?
I don't think Nate understands how serious.
I think Nate knows exactly what he's doing. He knows how to manipulate people, and he knows how to use his best interest to get his end goal.
Do you think he understands
He's
how
messing with
serious
that gangster.
Fez is, though?
I
Dealing with
don't think he cares.
He looks down on Fez.
Okay.
He's like, you're a high school dropout, you're a gangster. He's making fun of him, like, oh, you're gonna have a pet tiger.
Yeah.
He really doesn't respect him at all.
I don't think Nate cares, but the thing about Nate is that if all these people come together that he's conspiring against, it's going to be bad news bears. Yeah, like if Tyler comes out that says that actually, like, Nate came to my house and he beat me and he threatened me and forced me to tell the police. If Jules comes out, even though she said that she was lying under oath, but if Jules comes out and said that she was threatened by Nate, if Maddie comes out and says she was strangled by Nate, like, he's building, like, people again. I mean, right now it's fear, but fear only lasts so long.
Yeah.
Then it's time to take the tyrant down. I'm calling Nate a tyrant.
Man, I hope Fez finds out that was Nate that called the police on him. I want
I
them
think
to
he's
beat
definitely
him
going
up.
to.
Beat
Did
him
you
up.
see him trying to flush all the drugs
Yeah.
down between her and him and Ashtray? I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
So
what you mean? Hurry
Not
up,
that
bro.
I advocate drug selling at all, but I
Jeez.
felt so bad for him in that moment. First of all, these drugs Mouse gave to him, which he didn't even want.
Oh, I forgot.
Mouse is back. I think Fez is kind of trying to get out of that lifestyle. I don't think he wants to sell drugs anymore. Now he's being forced to. He's being threatened, and now he's gonna owe Mouse all this drug money that he just flushed down the toilet.
I forgot. And I feel like because most people sell drugs for a reason, I feel like Fez is selling drugs to help support his grandma.
Yeah, he's sitting there
Not
bathing
that
her.
I can't talk about someone's struggle, but I feel like that's what he does, and like that's why he's like tries not to be in any like drama or BS, because he doesn't want any of the heat. He just wants to do what he has to do to take care of the people he loves.
Yeah, we already had a little bit of invested interest in him, but like this shows another light to him. He didn't get a full episode, but we saw so much from him just taking care of his grandma that can't see or talk. Like, it gives us a reason why he's doing the things, or assume why he's doing the things he's doing.
Again, this is another way of sort of breaking stereotypes. Usually the drug dealer is the bad guy. And I love that we're seeing a side of him. I hope next week maybe they'll show us his upbringing. I don't know. He's one of my favorite characters, actually.
Because he just cares.
Yeah.
We're here for you, Fez.
We are.
Free Fez.
Next
We're all
season,
here for
definitely an episode for you.
once I'm
We're
done.
voting.
Comment.
We're voting.
Like, this is such a smooth
Comment.
I hate you.
someone else who's getting a lot of phone calls, more video calls actually, is Kat. Which
Can we talk about?
can we talk about Kat for a second?
That was uncomfortable. Again, she's underage. And that was so uncomfortable. That voice was uncomfortable. At first, I thought it was going to be someone she
So
knew.
weird.
That was going to, like, try to, like, catch her.
That's exactly what I thought.
And I was like, it's someone trying to set her up. And someone found out and they know. And I was, like, shaking the whole time. But it's just making me so uncomfortable.
Ain't no face, no case.
True, but if someone's had sex with her and they know her body...
But like
voice
they
is
can't
the
like,
same.
Oh, yeah,
they
she's
can't-
not masking her voice either.
But they can't like say, "Oh, this is her," when like her face is not in it. I guess.
I don't know. But it's crazy how she went from talking to her friends, kind of getting the real life, like, look, this is bad for you.
got
You're
checked.
changing, and it's not for the good.
Yeah.
And then she goes on to this, and kind of the roles get reversed. She's used to being in control of all these
Yeah,
people. Then it starts with the black slate. Then she like has to walk and show her whole body. Then she has to take stuff off, and she keeps saying, "I've never done this before." And he's like, "All right, well, you're still doing it." It's like she's losing all control, even in
She's
the
losing her
even.
power.
Yeah, even in the spot where she thought she had all the power and control, she's losing it there. So she's really about to hit rock bottom because there's no other place to go right now.
Chris Robinson said, I thought it was Ethan for a second. I almost did too. I was like, it's someone that she knows.
No way.
I thought
Ethan's a good guy.
I thought it was someone like watching her and then going to tell her, you don't need to do this or something.
Oh, he thought Ethan was the person in the. I don't have a clue.
I thought it was
Ethan at all.
someone.
It might be
scared.
someone
I
she
don't know.
knows. We'll see next episode, I'm sure.
She's going down the wrong path. Do you think Maddie, though, was too harsh on her? Or do you think Maddie said what needed to be said?
What needed to be said?
Yeah, I feel like the whole point of having friends is to check you when you're wrong and bring you up when you're down.
Yeah, I agree. I think, and it came out bad because it was too late. It was too long, too late for both of them because they both said what they thought, but they were waiting because, yes, she was a horrible friend. We said that on here, 4 episodes ago? They should have said that to each other, and that's why it came off so rude because it just took long.
Yeah.
And her saying that, I forgot how Kat came back, but she was just talking about her whole life too, And I was like, they both right. It just came out wrong.
Yeah. And that's a communication problem. A lot of the times with friends or even significant others, we hold on to things because we're like, it's not worth talking about. Maybe she's a little self-centered. But then when we're angry, it comes out and it just blows up. And I don't know, but I think Maddie stood her ground, and I agree with everything she said. I don't know. I love all these characters.
She could have said it more with love, but
hey, when you're in the moment and you're angry, it's
it just comes out.
Yeah, it does. It does. Regardless, I love them all, and we are about to find out which character we're all most like. So today's special segment is a little different. We have all taken a quiz on BuzzFeed, and please tell us more about the quiz.
So I found this quiz on BuzzFeed that tells you based on, if you've taken BuzzFeed quizzes, but I thought it'd be fun for us as a panel to see which cast member we are most like. I'm going to post it in the comments too. So if you want to find out who you were like, then, and let us know in the comments who you're most like, and tell us if it was a surprise or if you were like, no, that's me. So yeah, do you want to start, Jeff?
Okay, so I like when I got my answer, I was not happy about it because I saw the name and face and I didn't read the reason.
Okay.
The reason is kind of on to an extent, but I got Cass.
Wait, I thought we were supposed to guess.
Oh yeah.
Well, we're gonna guess on everybody else, on everybody else except me. This is an example.
Yeah, you already said.
But yeah,
Jeff is an example.
I got Cassie, and I just didn't understand why, so I was like, well, that doesn't make sense. But the reason is...
Why didn't I get a man?
So then I'm like, all right, well, that's kind of just messed up. No, but it says, love new experiences and adventures, hates when people tell you what to do, and always trying to do the right thing even when you can't. Ooh, and I liked all of it, but when it said, hate when people tell you what to do, I wasn't all the way on that one. Just because, obviously, giving them behind the scenes, we're all learning how to be hosts and stuff. So, when we get feedback, I love learning how to be better. So, that's why I didn't understand that part. But, I can see, I see what they got. Because they got, 80% of it right on. So, that was kind of cool.
Okay, who do you guys... So now we're going to guess and see who the rest of us think that we got. Who the panel thinks that we got and who we actually got. So, who do you guys think I was?
I think you got Cassie. Because I feel like you were I don't know, very nice, in her realm, I guess. I don't know how to explain it. I think you're just nice and friendly and look out for people like
naive.
that.
I think you got Maddie because I don't know. I think you are very confident and you your energy is you take over a room, and I see that in Maddie a little bit too.
Thanks.
See, I agree with both of them, but I'm gonna just go a different way. I see Lexi for the simple fact that she is shy, but she knows what she is, she knows who she is, and she's comfortable in that. She doesn't change for her friends. And I see that in you.
Mm-hmm. That's really y'all. I feel empowered, but I got Cassie.
Right. Exactly right.
You were right. So again, loves new experiences and adventures, but I don't like when people tell me what to do because I like when people can show me something, but I don't like when people tell me what to do. I like to learn how to do things and show me how to do it. Don't like to be like, and then you need to do this, but hey, this is how you do something.
Biggest facts.
Yeah. And I always try to do the right thing. So I feel like I am a lot like Cassie, but I have different aspects of other characters. So
yeah, of course. Yeah. That's just like zodiac signs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Life. Okay, guess what I have, guys?
Kristen, I thought you had Lexi because you've told us a little bit about you and your sister and how you've had to back her up in the past, and I see that obviously in Lexi, and I just think you would be a very good friend to have and a very good sister. So I see that in Lexi.
Thank you.
I think you got Maddie because you are fierce, you are fun, you are confident in who you are, you don't let people try to tear you down, you don't have to be the center of attention, but you enjoy it and it comes naturally to you. Yeah, cool. You're gorgeous, and I think you got Maddie.
Thanks, sister.
I got a retweet on that with Maddie, and just for example, when we're discussing how we feel on the show, especially when we have different point of views, you're like, no, this is what I say, this is how I feel, and this is why,
and you call it is.
And you own it, and I love that about you, and I feel like that's why you remind me of Maddie in this situation.
Well, thank you. I did get Maddie, actually. I got Maddie because, like, it says you're loyal to people. You're loyal to people you love no matter what they do. You love going out and hanging out with a group of friends. That's so true. Even though you aren't always confident, you love yourself. So, yeah.
Ooh, that's cool. I love that.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was Maddie.
She's my favorite character.
Yeah, she's cool. Okay.
We're back.
Yes. We're good. Okay, I say... Honestly, I think I'd say Lexi because you're very supportive. Even the side conversations that I hear you talk to your friends in the studio, I'm like, you're very supportive and things like that. So I think you're like a really good friend.
I'm going to go with Lexi, too. I feel like, I don't know if she's on there, but I feel like you're always there. And, like, someone could not talk to you for a long time, but if they called you up and said, Rivette, I need to talk to you about something, you would be there for them. Unjudgment. You don't judge people. You're unbiased. You have a big heart. You care. And I just feel like you're just a very genuine, good person.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to go cry now. Thanks.
I mean, y'all already said it, but I'm going to go a different person. And don't take this wrong because it's a guy. I'm going to say Fez. Because
thank you.
Fez is
That's our man.
Is a real one. He is the definition of a real one.
Yeah.
And what I love about him, he doesn't even say a lot. He says what he needs to say, and it means so much. Ooh. And I feel like, especially like when we're talking like just behind the scenes and we're trying to like learn and bounce ideas off each other, you didn't even tell me like a lot of things. You just tell me one thing, and I'm like, dang, like that meant so much to me. And I feel like I learned, and we got to bounce ideas off. So it's like what you say means so much. So that's why I picked Fez for this one.
Fire.
Thank you guys. I love this game. I love you guys so much.
All I'm saying is I got the short end of the stick because I said all this and I get no compliments. Nothing. I'm over here feeling like I'm gonna give myself compliments tonight. So there's that.
We got you after the show.
No, honestly, I would say you're Fez.
Let's do Jeff.
Yeah,
no, we don't have. I was making.
We haven't said yours.
I was making a quick
I'm
joke.
Cassie.
Dang,
I was surprised too.
What does it say?
I love new experiences and adventures. Hate when people tell me what to do. Trying to do the right thing even if I can't. The telling people what to do. I like being told what to do in a work environment, not in my personal life.
Right.
Okay, I agree with that.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel that.
But Jeff, I would definitely say Fez. No, really.
I was 100% joking. I don't like the attention like that.
No, I'm doing yours too.
All right, so we out here.
No, yeah, Fez, because I can totally see that in you, like sort of just like a person that really cares a lot and is genuine. And I feel like I've texted you a few times, and you've always been really helpful. So I really appreciate that. I definitely see a Fez in you.
I'm gonna second Fez. Again, I see genuine person, someone who cares. But if someone takes you there, you can go there, and you'll protect the people that you care about, and that you've a really big heart.
Yeah, tell Kris that, because I be getting high sometimes, even though I say, she's like, you lying? I'm like, I be getting high. I just don't tell everybody I be getting high.
That's funny, because I would say Ethan, which is your favorite character.
Oh, that's my guy, so I'm down.
Yeah, I feel like you're a good guy all the way around, especially probably to your significant other. So I feel like what the conversations we've had, I feel like you're like a good guy in that nature, just all the way around. With friends, significant other, family, all that.
Yeah.
When I find a significant other, I'll treat her well. So.
When I find her.
Again, I'm going to put that quiz in the comments. So if you want to find out who you are from the show, be sure to check in the comments. Mm-hmm. And that also brings me to the juicy news and gossip.
Yes.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Okay, so last week a lot of people were talking about the scene with Chris McKay and how he was being hazed. So the actor Algie Smith was on Complex, and they were asking him, how did he feel about the scene? And he responded. He was asked what was people's response after the episode, and Algie responded, "It was great. The response has been crazy. It's just been different. People are kind of confused. They don't know what happened, but people are really pulled in, like they're really shocked." And I'm like, I'm happy they were confused because no one really seems to know what happened and why he was triggered that way. But also he was asked, because I don't know if you all know, but there was another actor that was cast to be Chris McKay was Astro, and he had dropped out. And so they had asked, Complex had asked Algie how he felt about that because another actor had dropped out. And he responded, first of all, everybody is very, very different with what they're comfortable with. So shout out to Astro, which I thought was admirable. He also went on to say, I've been, actually worked with him before. He's a really good people. It's just that different actors are just comfortable with different things. I felt a little bit more comfortable being in that position, which I thought was really interesting. The rest of the interview is on complex.com if you want to look it up. But it's really interesting to kind of hear his thoughts through that episode because a lot happened and we kind of got to figure out who Chris McKay was. Also, more news and gossip. So the actress Barbie Ferreira she plays Kat on the show. She is shattering stereotypes of plus size women. She was recently in an interview with Yahoo and she was saying that I don't think anyone wants to see a one-dimensional character that's the fat best friend. She went on to say this tragic girl, the tragic girl who can't seem to find it out until she loses weight. And the best part is that Kat being fat really does influence a lot of it, but really her storyline isn't centered around it. And I love that about Barbie Ferreira. She's an awesome girl. Follow her on Instagram if you don't. So yeah, lots of news and juicy gossip coming all down to the season finale. So yeah, I don't know. A lot of things are being stirred up. I feel like some new stuff might come out this week, so be sure to tune in next week for some more juicy gossip.
Yes. Next week is the season finale, which brings us to our predictions.
Yes.
So I know we're all stressed out. Predictions. Who wants to go first?
I'll go.
Okay.
I feel like Cassie is going to keep the baby. I think they showed the clip so she sees how far she is, or she sees or feels something, and it kind of sways her. I feel like Fez is going to find out Nate called the feds, and it's going to go down. I feel like Jules is starting to realize how much she cares about Rue. I think her going home made her realize that she actually does care about Rue. But I think there's going to be some kind of falling out. Something doesn't feel right. I just feel like, because, how she was referencing, good things don't last or whatever. I think something's going to happen with them. I feel like some stuff's going to happen with Nate. I'm not really explaining what. I don't know, because this show, you just don't know what's going to happen. But I feel like Nate's SHIT is going to start coming out, because so far along, he's been throwing everybody under the bus and creating. So I think, he's about to SHIT where he eats.
Okay, let me go. I'm gonna piggyback off what she said, especially about Cassie. I don't think she was at the OBGYN where she was like, just to rub the oil on the belly and find out the baby. I think she was at the abortion clinic. So it was going down right then and there. So I think she will get the abortion. I think that Nate we will finally see the beginning of his demise, because he's been really trying it, and he tried it with the wrong one. I think Fez is the wrong one.
He is.
So bye Nate. If someone was to get killed, I think Nate would be first. I think that, yes, I agree. Jules will finally see that she really loves Rue, and it will be on and popping next season, baby.
Ooh. See, I hope so. I got one prediction. It's straight on. I'm thinking that Fez is dying next episode.
Don't say that.
And I don't want it, but I think so. And I think I think they kind of transitioned into that. And I kind of said that earlier. Like they were setting pieces. So you see, when Fez didn't want to be into more drugs, having to sell more drugs, he's like, nah, dude, I'm not really trying to do that. So he already doesn't want to be in there. And then he's going to jail. He's like, all right, we think he might go to jail. He's like getting rid of all the drugs and everything. So then he's gonna have a fight with Nate probably, but also the drugs are gone. So that means the drug dealer Mouse is gonna want to come back at him. And I think Fez is gonna be the one that has to take the blame and ends up dying. And on top of that, I think that's gonna be the breaking point for Rue. And I think I don't know if she's gonna do drugs, but I think it might be that cliffhanger. Like, is she gonna do drugs because her best friend just died?
I rebuke it. That was too heavy.
I have goosebumps all over my body. Like, that is a lot to take in.
I'll be crying next week if that happens.
I was just gonna say, I think Kat is gonna be blackmailed. Like that's my main prediction. I do think Cassie's gonna keep the baby.
Wow.
I don't know.
No way.
She's looking for someone to love her. And I've seen
I hope this is not the way.
I don't know,
not the way,
because
people.
They did say that Cassie's loved every single boy she's ever been with. Yeah. So I don't want McKay, because I really do enjoy them together. I feel like he's very genuine in his feelings towards her. I don't know if she's just like this is my current guy and I just love him just like I love everybody else. So I don't know if they're going to last, but it's going to be a crazy season finale.
It will be.
Please don't forget to tune in next week. It is our last week until season 2, and you can find me on social media, at Rivette Sorrell on all social media platforms.
You can find me on Instagram at the Kris, Kris exclusive.
You can find me on all social media. I guess none of us can say social media today. Social media platforms, Ashleigh Morgan, ASHLEIGHMORGHAN.
And if you want to see your boy again, I'll be on a plethora of other after shows. And you can follow me at JeffWill_Jr. on all social media platforms.
Tune in next week. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.